When we see Hishaku in that flashback, he has black fingernails.
Oh, y'all know it.
Was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Welcome back to the Hishaku Hideout, a weekly podcast where we talk about the latest chapter and everything Kagurabachi. I'm here with Dice.
Yo.
And today we're getting into chapter 118. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone to join the Discord. We have now opened memberships for the channel that offers 2 different tiers, so feel free to join. And shout out to our members, true Hishaku goats. Alright, Dice.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 118. Sheesh.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god.
Big blood Hiroto Soga. That's zaddy, bro. That's zaddy. He said, next time's the throat. I said, huh?
Yeah, I mean, where do we even start with this one, right? Like, I guess we could just, go from the beginning, but this chapter, man, like, holy shit, man. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm just blown away, dude. Like, crazy chapter.
Yeah, I mean, everything about this chapter is just like, it's like flawless execution in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we got this fight. Like, it wasn't no, like, time skip shenanigans or nothing, like jumping over this fight. Like, I'm really happy that we got to see this, because I think it does a lot to kind of start painting the picture of just how much hell it must have been really taking down these guys in a, like, full-blown warfare, because this was just one encounter, and it's
exactly
just crazy.
They've literally said this is our strongest, like, force we can offer currently, right?
Yeah.
And the do-rag Datanseki, guards, like, are legit. I mean, giving them a run, making them have to work. So think about if the whole army is, got the do-rags on. You know what I mean? It's just widespread chaos.
Yeah, man. I mean, and the whole thing is really just like, it's just one big fight scene. This, all of this chapter, or most of it at least. We do get a bit of dialogue up top in regards to Shiba recognizing that, these are the Mikoboshi. The guy presents himself as the Mikoboshi, which I thought is very interesting. And they quickly get down to business. He says that they pray to Datanseki. It's like the professor had said last chapter. It is very much holy to them. They pray to it. It protects them. They coexist with it. The dude even has it on his chest. But yeah,
they
like
all do.
Like you said, the Soga aren't playing around either. I mean, as soon as he pulls out that little knife from his pocket, he loses his fingers instantly. Which I thought was,
bro.
Which
How
I
do
thought
you make
was
that kind
cool.
of cut at that angle? Like, that motherfucker's on the side. He had to, like, reach over him and.
Yeah. And one thing I didn't really touch on last chapter is, like, I really like how Shiba says, his opening line is, "Go home, please." It's like one last ditch attempt at, like, not letting this escalate, but he knows what's gonna happen regardless.
Are we about to agenda that Shiba just don't want the hands? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, we know how this
playing.
chapter ends, so, like, agenda or not, like, we know how this chapter ends, but yeah, I'll let you get into it.
Yeah, and in the beginning, we do see, like, Mashiro's thoughts. And boy, Mashiro, he said the 4 guys next to the old man are probably warriors. Shiba and I can probably can handle them. It's, I don't know about that. The Mashiro, y'all might have y'all might not come out of that fight. Or Mashiro definitely ain't coming out of that fight. Shiba might, but he talks about the dangerous one being the guy sitting down. We don't have a name for him or anything like that. He says that this guy's more dangerous than the other 4 together. We can't allow him to move around freely. And that's pretty crazy, but I think what we'll call him, like, Michael Mikoboshi over there. I'll leave when my business is done. And we really didn't talk much about this before we hit record, but I did mention that when he took the knife out, I think that he was gonna unalive himself. You know what I mean? And of course, that didn't play out all that well. Because I mean, we see him like that's insane. But like, if that was his plan, right? That would mean that he went there to unalive himself, to like enact the sorcery that we see at the end. And then he says, "I'll leave when my business is done." So like he'll still be able to go home after doing that, if that is what he was planning to do. Not saying that was his plan, but you know, that little knife. I mean, what's that gonna do? We got Big Daddy Hiroto Soga right there. Kimbo Slice of the Soga, they call him.
Yeah, I mean, and we can like go more in depth in terms of like that later on, especially when we start like diving into the theories and once we get there. But I definitely agree with that. Yeah, it's like you said, like it's not entirely clear if that's what he was planning to do off rip. I mean, you would think that he was expecting some sort of resistance, but he might have been surprised with the level of opposition that Japan brought, and it might have been like just kind of like his backup plan, right?
Yeah, I mean, but Hiroto was look maxing and he mogged him. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I mean, basically, but yeah, no, it's like Sheba says, right? Like it's this business that dude is talking about isn't talking, right? So whatever it was, it's like he came in, he made some crazy demands, and clearly willing to use any force necessary to see those demands met. We'll have to wait and see like how things really get to the point we see at the end. But yeah, we have some more things to discuss in the meanwhile, right?
Yeah, I like the the other Soga. He's like the dragon from Hell's Paradise. I know you haven't seen Hell's Paradise or read it, but there's a character kind of exactly like him, and he's like, "How do you do?" when he says, "Don't move too much, or the gentleman here will cut you." I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I mean, dude is smiling all chapter. Like, that is crazy.
He's a demon. Yeah, he's like literally for the second panel of the entire chapter, that boy's grinning, like ear to ear smile, like McDonald's smile.
Yeah, that dude, like the whole time, like he does not wipe that fucking grin off his face. It's crazy. He is about that action. I mean, both Soga clearly are.
Yeah, I mean, they went there knowing that they were gonna have scrap, obviously with the But I mean, what was Chiaki's prophecy? It's something wicked or something like that.
Well, I mean, in regards to last chapter, she said the meeting was going to be extremely hostile. I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
That's what it was.
Yeah. I mean, extremely hostile it was. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
that's a word for it. But no, I mean, this chapter, I was just like, I was looking like the other Soga. I was smiling like that all chapter. This chapter is crazy. Now, after your boy pulls out his little knife, and then Hiroto cuts his fingers off, the dude don't even like wince in pain. He isn't tripping or nothing. He just looks at his hand and like bro felt no pain. I was like, damn. I was like, that dude, he's gonna be a problem. Like, Mashiro's cooking with that one. That dude's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not just that he doesn't feel any pain. He immediately like clenches his fists.
Yeah.
Originally, I thought like he immediately healed, but it's kind of hard to tell, and there's blood all over the place. So if anything, it doesn't really look like it's the case. But he just clenches his fist, bro. And the other dudes, the Datanseki Durag warriors, like you called them, they know what time it is, because as soon as the dude clenches his fist, they just immediately go on the offensive. And it's right when he says, like, it is our god, talking about the Datanseki, which it's crazy. It starts to have a whole nother layer to this, what is it, drop of heaven stone, basically, which is like what Datanseki is roughly translates to or whatever. And these dudes clearly see it as such. And yeah, you swipe to the next page and we get a nice little full page. Or when you look at the double page. Yeah, like it's like you said, the dude said Hiroto's his name, right? Hiroto Soga.
Big Daddy Hiroto Soga, that's his full name.
Well, you can call him Big Daddy. But yeah, he meant it, he immediately just slashed his throat, and yeah, the fight begins.
Yeah, they all get pressed. I love that, like, the two Soga instantly get pressed, right? Then Mashiro's chilling behind the couch. You can see, like, the dude's throat is just still leaking blood, and that one-off panel next to it. And Shiba's just, like, getting up from the couch. She's like,
taking a sweet-ass time.
Yeah, he's getting ready. Like, Shiba could literally just teleport over to the old man and, like, snap his neck or some shit, but he's not on that kind of demon time. We know Shiba's not on that demon time like that.
Getting your shots in, huh?
Yeah. I got to, because I know that apology form is like,
oh, it's coming, bro.
I got my name, it's on the top of the paper. I might have filled out the first line after this chapter.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, with him talking about, like, that's their god, it almost kind of reminded me a bit of Modulo in a sense, with, like, Cross and Yuka's conversation. Obviously this is a hostile, like, from Rip. This is an actual, like, revenge that they're plotting, so it's very different. But just me in terms of, like, what like the religious aspect of it, like, Yuka was telling Cross that, but what if that religious thing was a living being? Would you step on it then? I forgot what chapter that was, but
oh, don't worry, this isn't a Modulo podcast.
Yeah.
I'm just messing.
And you know what, like, that's not, I wouldn't even say, like, that even, like, sticks, to be honest, now that I think about it. Because, like, I mean, obviously, like I already mentioned, this is a very different, like, setting, in terms of, like, he's talking about it's their god, but this isn't like a outside party bringing a, like, new thing in. This is like a old like nemesis, if you will, reappearing 1,000 years later to get revenge or get their, get it back in blood, essentially. And this stone is what enabled that. This stone is what fueled their rebirth, and basically building a whole new civilization. But it's like, where did that stone come from? How did they get it? Where did they find it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's stuff that I just wonder, because they got a whole damn submarine, looks like a goddamn Pokemon back there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and not to get too carried away with this part of the conversation, but, like, it's also more than just revenge. At the end of the day, the reason why these guys are pulling up, it's because that same stone that they seem to worship has now kind of sprouted on the shores of Japan. And for them, kind of, I can imagine it's the sense of, like, you're not about to have access to what gave us the ability to survive after you drove us out. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
yeah, it's our saving grace cannot be your, like, accessory to just, like, fuel y'all's, like, enterprise forward. This is what saved our clan.
Yeah, after you drove us out, mind you. It's like there is a lot of, like, context added on top of it.
Hey, I want to say, like, because you mentioned this, I think maybe a couple episodes ago or something like that. I barely listened to you, so I don't really remember.
I don't blame you.
Like, this 2 years, like, the 2 years ago, like, that moment, like, that's a big year. That's a big, like, that's a big moment in a timeline of Kagurabachi. 2 years ago from this moment, Chiaki got her powers. Datanseki started sprouting on Hiroshima. You know what I mean? Like all these things started happening. Like, it's crazy. The Shikoku came up. Or, so, like, 2 years ago, like, what exactly is it? Just like, we talked about fate. Is it just like a fate thing? And You know, that all just kind of, you know, plays into it. Is there something, you know, like a catalyst fuel, you know, behind it? Who knows?
Yeah, no, definitely. There's like still so many questions, and I do think that there is some sort of divine connection kind of tying everything, whether it's like the gift of prophecy and Datanseki. You know, like you said, there's like a lot of like timeline coincidences. So or at least, you know, enough for like to raise suspicions. Like you just said, like Chiaki got her powers around the same time that Shikoku appeared. And Shikoku only appears around 34 hours after Datanseki starts kind of like emerging within the shores of Hiroshima or on Hiroshima. After like this massive earthquake, which is what we got on in that first chapter. So it's like a lot of things that went down that we still don't really know what is like you said, the catalyst.
Yeah, because
So
that moment, that time, that part in the timeline of Kagurabachi, it basically fueled all the major players, you know, that you know, basically got the story going. Like our final villain in the current timeline, he started to excel and, you know, grow as a swordsman, as a fighter, because his sister awakened her power at that time. So, you know, even him, like as big of a part as he is, 2 years ago, that moment is huge for him as a character. Even though he didn't like inherently like or directly get influenced by the events, it was more like he's like an offshoot of what those events, you know, caused. You know, it's crazy to think about that.
oh yeah.
And you know, the Datanseki being such a major player, like they these people have had Datanseki for, you know, so long, right? They've built a civilization. They have access to things that, you know, Japan doesn't. Yet it only took Kunishige to create 6 swords to like do them in.
Yeah, well, it's worth wondering if the Rokuhira eyes are also like on the same line of like, again, the Datanseki, the Chiaki prophecy. It's like things that aren't like really explained at all. You know, they're unexplained, and we still don't really know what's their place in the power system, really. But yeah, it's like you said. I do want to kind of just, you know, start getting into the fight that takes place. But before we do, I just kind of peep this. You know, as we're recording, do you know, you just mentioned Akamura. Right as the fight kind of begins, that we see like both of the Soga clan members getting pressed, and Shiba teleports that one dude up in the sky, just again spamming that that fall damage attack of his. In the panel afterwards, does it look like dude has the Magatsumi eyes?
You talking about the with the where he's like kind of smiling?
Yeah, I mean it's the panel on the page after Shiba, you know, teleports
okay.
with the.
Yeah, at the top. Yeah, you're talking about the very top panel.
Kind of looks like the Magatsumi eyes to me, man. Especially like
blacked out. I just think they're blacked out. But I mean, I see what you're saying, because they're definitely different than like the very beginning of the chapter. But I think it could also be that dude's dying. That like he's just dying. He's dying right there.
Yeah, I mean that could. Yeah, I'm sorry, just real quick. The only reason I ultimately bring this up is because of the connections that we've been talking about, especially like last chapter in regards to the connection between Magatsumi and the Mikaboshi. You know, there's the insect thing, and of course, like that's his whole thing. And you know, we'll get into later what it looks like is happening towards the end. With this guy, like I theorized it could be like the dark power, and we know that's something that the Magatsumi uses on command as well. So it like naturally, I can only imagine that this is kind of like a similar thing happening. But yeah, I won't get really too much into it. We can talk about that later and get into the fight or wherever you want to take this conversation now.
Yeah, so I mean, them getting pressed, right? We see them all like Shiba takes this guy up in the air, obviously. You know, the Soga, one of them gets pressed underwater. Big Daddy Hiroto Soga is underwater, which is crazy because you're seeing how that Shikoku, the do-rag warrior, is moving in the water. Like, that boy is speeding in the water. You know what I mean? He's not just swimming. Like, that motherfucker is like
dashing, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a little boat down there. A little boat. And, we see the Dragon Soga, I'll call him. He looks like he's just still smiling for the thrill of it, Mashiro, he's a little dipshit, bro. Mashiro's a little he's a little... Like, you look at him, like, there's a guy dying in front of him. There's still a do-rag Datanseki warrior. There's the old guy with his little baby feet dangling. And he's the only one left right there. Like, he don't show no, like, he's just smiling and shit. Or he's not smiling, but he's kind of got like a little smirk. And then we do get the reveal of his, we do get the little reveal of his sorcery though, which is basically just like a ISO, or ISO.
Yeah, that's true. It's like a multi-directional, kind of ISO. Yeah, no, that's a.
Yeah, because he can just, omnidirectional ISO.
Yeah,
and I mean that dude just big dick bees through it though.
I do think, like, kind of looking at this chapter, I do think you gave Mashiro a bit too much credit last episode.
Because the Tiberius curse, bro. If I talk shit about somebody, they're gonna fucking ball out. But right when I praise them the first time, they're gonna fucking die.
No, I mean, hey, like, I'll give you some credit with Hiroto. Like, he's already done more on panel than Ibiki, so at least
here we go.
At least you glazed him right. Like, I gotta give you credit there. But Mashiro is like, he's not moving like these dudes, right? And like, he even admits it, right? How the two Soga and Shiba were able to like just kind of get by with scratches, and he ends up with broken bones, right? But he is not on that timing like these other guys. And also, I don't know if I'm reading too much into this, but the fourth Datanseki Durag warrior, he didn't attack Mashiro. I would imagine that it's because he didn't really view him as a threat like the other three.
I think it's because of plot.
Or because of plot. That's a good point. Yeah, because he does get attacked like kind of immediate, like not not too long afterwards. That's I guess so. But yeah.
Yeah, do it for the plot. Yeah, I mean, and obviously we see this Datanseki warrior like whipping out a bee.
Yeah,
that was like, okay. So Akamura's taking notes somewhere, kicking his feet. He's like, ooh, I can't wait. I mean, the dude, but we see like Mashiro's thoughts as he's fighting this guy. He says, man, inhuman strength and speed. And as he's getting choked out, he's like thinking like, oh, they can wield the power that Datanseki surpasses what the human body can contain. There's no way we can win with normal attacks. And then that was pretty dope though. He did like take that dude's head off.
Yeah, that was cool. He showed a little bit of IQ to kind of make up for his lack of strength or power, which I thought was really nice. For a second there, I thought he was cooked, but it's cool that you can peep when the blade is no longer on his back. I thought that's very nice.
And then Hiroto comes out the water. Like, there's a moment in Bleach with Kenpachi Zaraki, and like he has his sword like that. Now, of course, Kenpachi has like 2 or 3 guys like stacked on his sword, but he comes out the water looking like Kenpachi a little bit. I mean, Kenpachi's alive though, so there's that. But Mashiro does bring up an interesting thing though, that like we the readers, like have questioned this entire time with the whole Akamura like malediction thing. He says Shikoku. How many people live there? Are they all hostile like these guys? If that place is crawling with guys like this, like that that's that's on all of our thoughts. Like, what exactly is the everyman? Like, how does the rest of it? Because they're all Mikaboshi. It's the everyone on that island, 99% chance is Mikaboshi, or like from the Mikaboshi, ancestry. Because, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I do think that like I definitely see what you're saying, and I do definitely think that there's something there. 100%, I agree with you. But I also think it's more so, again, kind of setting the stage for the scale of the war and just how many, these guys times 100 or times 1,000. How would that look like? Because we have seen innocent civilians in Shikoku and how they look like. Granted, we've only seen like very little, just basically like a page or a few panels at most, and one of them is them already kind of like as corpses.
Yo,
So,
you know what's crazy? That might be the only true thing about like the first Shikoku reveal, like that they didn't show the malediction at that point, or like the bones. I don't think they just showed like the warriors, and I think they cut to like a panel of, I thought was maybe Japanese citizens at first. I can't remember. Maybe I'm misremembering. But either way, like the fact that the original flashback, was almost like all like bullshit. Like, oh, they invaded Japan and all, but they showed when they were just dropping off a letter.
yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I mean, we talked about that. Like, yeah, it was bullshit.
That's right, we did talk about that last episode.
Yeah, and like ultimately, fuck, I kind of lost my train of thought. Yeah, I just yeah, I lost my train of thought, honestly. I don't know where I was going with this.
I mean, honestly, from there we see Shiva pop back up. The homie and then Dragon Soga still smiling. That dude is a happy go lucky. But then that's when we see like Shiba takes a look at the old guy, and that old dude hasn't moved, and then it just cuts to black. Whenever the page cuts to black, there's a death happens. You know what I mean? Like that's every time. Like it happened with Yura's wife. It's like damn near almost every. You see that black panel at the bottom of a page that cut to black. Some shit's about to happen or some shit happened. And we see Shiba like, there's a VHS tape. I don't even know if you kids know what a VHS is, a VCR. But back in my day, that's how we watched movies, all right? And Shiba's all beat the fuck up, which he's not beat up, after he fights the Datanseki warrior. And he looks like he's like just, he's the only one left. That's what it looks like. That's how it portrays to be.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it looks like. And we see the bandages all over his hands, like whatever takes place from this last panel that we see leading up to kind of Shiba recounting his experience and how that all went down. It must have been like a scary sight. I mean, we know for sure that it is a scary sight.
Yeah, this motherfucker's levitating off the chair.
And I do think,
what I mean? Like,
yeah, and I do think it's like very noticeable, like what we can barely see from Shiba's expression. It very much looks like to me that maybe he isn't crying, which like is kind of like how I interpret it. Especially if we agree that Mashiro is dead. His expression and the way, like, again, from what little we can see, kind of like the little lines under his eyes and his eyebrows, like it is very much like he's wincing, and it was definitely something
pain,
that traumatized
emotional. It's crazy. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. I mean, I'm still not filling out the apology for him, but I feel bad for him.
Oh, you will. You will.
No, for real though, like, he does look like he's wincing, kind of, it's obviously he looks like he's in physical pain, but it seems more the emotional pain is the big thing there.
Precisely.
And we cut to what happened what happened next? Oh, well, this guy started levitating off his chair, and then you see, like, you mentioned the black energy. I said that he wanted to unalive himself, and both of those things could kind of play into each other. We know the black energy is something that eats, it's like a spirit energy that is your life is poured into, essentially. I mean, we know the Datans, it could be, I don't know. You know, like, obviously, I don't think any of us know because it looks like something's coming out of his neck. Or could that be the Datanseki, like, I don't know.
Yeah, again, I see a lot of similarities between this and what we see with Damagatsumi. It looks like to me like a mix between blood kind of turning into that black goo, which again, it's what happens when you burn life, burn spirit energy. You know, or like the precise wording is a bit, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my thing was, you know, my original thing was not saying that this is a pine tree sorcery, but just how like the seeds worked in the Kabanabi, the raid on Kabanabi. The trees couldn't sprout until those people killed themselves. You know what I mean? That's how I initially like thought about it. Like he was gonna kill himself with that knife, but then Hiroto slit his neck, so he's like he didn't die right away because we see him smile right after that, but he is dying. And this is the moment where he actually dies. So then whatever sorcery he had implanted in him or whatever, it's coming out now. That's how I took it. But I do see like the black, you know, obviously radiating from him going to, you know, vertically. So it could be like the black energy, or maybe, like I said, maybe those two things play into each other.
Oh, 100%. That's what I was going to say now. I do think it very much could be like a combination of the two. I mean, if we're kind of going by what we saw, how we've seen Hishaku use that, you know, the pine tree sorcery, similar to like when that one first goon that Chihiro's interrogating all the way back in, I'm not sure if chapter 1 or like at least the first couple of chapters, you know, as soon as he's about to talk about the Hishaku, like the fucking tree kind of comes out of his body. So it's stated that is a spell, and I would assume that it's like the same thing when the Kamunabi members, you know, had the seed. I would assume it's a spell as well, and this very well could be like a similar spell that just, like you said, is just the two things kind of you know, tied into each other in this way.
Yeah.
The spell is like once he offs himself, or he, you know, he is offed, then it kind of
it's such like a scary concept to talk about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, we talked about this as well. For those that read Chojin X, this is basically a raise. So I thought that was also like, you know, I think the concept itself is pretty tough.
Shit, Hiroto gave me a raise in the middle of this chapter. You know what I mean? Nah.
Oh, man.
So you're saying someone put their seed in Michael Mikaboshi?
No, that's not what I'm saying, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's not
sorry.
what I'm saying.
That's the only thing I heard from your last. I'm just playing.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I do want to say real quick, is I do remember what I was kind of getting at a couple of minutes ago in regards to Mashiro's thoughts about the rest of the Islanders and if they're all hostile like that. I really do think it's, and you know, we have kind of like tiptoed around these conversations a bit already in terms of like it being like real life. It's like everything, you know, like you have people that are very much in tune with what the leaders are going for and these religious beliefs, and you have people that have kind of like are not really as tied in or tapped in or have that same level of belief, right? And I think that's ultimately what we're gonna see here. I do think that Hokuzono's kind of cooking up something special. Again, we, like in the last chapter I was kind of like on the fence on whether or not Hokuzono, you know, has like really something, I don't know if deep is the word to say, you know, or what kind of commentary he was really going for, but, and I know all we've gotten is really like a fight, but I guess just more so rereading the last chapter, reflecting on it a bit, reflecting on like the implications and looking at what Soga did, and now kind of seeing this chapter and seeing like the whole kind of like a religious aspect of it, of how like they pray to Datanseki and how they view Datanseki, and again Mashiro's thoughts on like the other people. I do very much think that like Hokuzono's cooking something where like at the end of the day both sides are human and there's good and bad on both sides, you know, and we like just typical moral shit, right? Like where you can't, like you said, like paint everybody with the same brush or that sort of thing. And I do think we'll get that in this, whether it's in this arc or later down the line in this story. I do think it's something that Hokuzono will touch on. Now, how it's executed and whether it's something that he can convey in a way that really resonates or, really hits is a whole nother story, and we'll have to wait. But I do very much think that he's going for that sort of nuance and kind of human complexity and, what kind of goes into this kind of hostility between people that don't, have history, and whose kind of views aren't exactly in alignment. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because it is kind of like what I was going for earlier.
Yeah, I mean, and the truth is, we know that the royal family, the people in charge got, kind of dethroned at the end of the war. The treaty was signed. Soga did what he did. Akamura did what he did after a treaty was signed. So, that just like that instantly like makes it, not okay. And like that, I mean, one, the act that he did just period is like, just wrong, genocide. And then two, if you want to try and say something else about like, oh, but what if this, that, or the other? A treaty was still signed. They gave up. They waved the white flag. And
yeah,
that's just the truth. That's the facts. Akamura was not right for what he did. Period. Now that doesn't mean that. Not saying that like. We see him for what he is, right? We're just gonna accept him as the villain. He's the villain of the story, But like this flashback, I'm wondering how much are we gonna like tap into Akamura? Are we just gonna kind of like leave that character and the moments surrounding him? Like obviously we're gonna see the thing that makes him want to go do it. I do think that, but I'm talking about like internal monologues. Or is Hokuzono going to save that for like the present timeline and flush him out there? Because obviously we still want to see him as a character have moments and develop within the present timeline. So I'm just wondering how much of Akamura's like internal monologue and things like that we'll get.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And for me, like the whole thing is, and I've seen this in online discussions, like for Soga, I think the interesting kind of aspect to this all is that from his perspective you can really see how he gets to the thought process or of like, if these guys held on to a grudge for over 1,000 years, who's to say they wouldn't do it again, right? And again, because it just feels like you have to say it, like I'm not justifying it, it is not okay, but this is what I was talking about a couple of minutes ago in regards to like the human complexity and that like sort of
religious sects that just indoctrinate the young, their beliefs, like cults. If the Mikaboshi turned that island into a cult, you know what I mean? Like, not saying that's what it is, but if they radicalize like that, it's it does get scary. I mean, I don't think Hokuzono's gonna go down that route or anything, but just saying the possibilities are there.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's like you say, whether that sort of thing is gonna be explored in this arc, or whether it kind of it's something that we see from Soga later on when maybe he's having that a clash of ideals with Chihiro. It's something that like he kind of yells at Chihiro. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, I think to me, everything points towards there have been different, like all sorts of people with all sort of ideologies, some who were very much supportive of the Mikaboshi and this idea of them taking back what's quote unquote theirs in terms of the Datsenseki, and others that, didn't think that war was the way. Like I it's just what I feel like. It's just what I think at this point. Like I very much feel like Hokuzono isn't just going to be like, Oh yeah, no, they all wanted to go to war. You know, I don't think we would have gotten the you know, the two civilians, you know, being turned into bones, like you said, in that one page of the malediction. Because yeah. But again, it's just
to see. Yeah.
it's just kind of like what I think after reflecting on things a little bit.
Yeah, I think, and this is the last thing before we wrap up. How does Sheba feel about the you know, what happened? Like, how does Sheba personally feel about the island and the Mikaboshi on the island? Like, after this moment, that's what I would really like to see. I might even write another line of the apology for him if I see that next chapter.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's very interesting because so far, the Shikoku have, and again, what very little we've seen from a very specific group of people is pretty much how they were painted. And again, I don't think Hogazono's just gonna be like, yep, no, that's exactly how they all were. And you know, like, no, I think this is very much deliberate in terms of like it not being what it seems on the surface. And this kind of like first move by them very much being you know, in alignment with what we know about them. I think it's meant to kind of I don't even want to say like subvert expectations or like I just think it's very deliberate. I just think it's very on purpose, and we'll eventually see how more people from the island feel and behave, and that's when we'll start kind of getting into that like, no, they really weren't all like this, you know? So
yeah, you know what I just remembered, and I gotta get out of here, so we can't really talk about it too much, but in chapter 2 of Kagurabachi, that's when we see like what happened to Kunishige. And let me see,
what happened
when they
as
show when Kunishige died.
Okay.
But when we see Hishaku in that flashback, he has black fingernails.
Oh, yo, don't. Oh.
You know?
Ooh, I didn't peep it.
So, just leave y'all with that.
Yeah,
that little,
yeah.
But I gotta get out of here. Got something to do.
Yes,
banger chapter, banger conversation.
Yeah.
Big Daddy Hiroto Soga, rest in peace. You will be missed. Say hello to Ibiki for me.
Oh man. Yeah, no, shout out these guys because this was a banger fight.
Yeah.
So,
Any
rip.
last thoughts, Dice?
No, man. I think we really tackled what we wanted to get into. Like you said, couldn't have said it better myself. Banger chapter. I was like hella excited just like with every swipe of the page, man. I was like
giddy. I was giddy. I was like,
yeah, man. I didn't even, we didn't like, at least I didn't take notes or nothing. We just jumped into this conversation like, and yeah, banger chapter,
smiling
man.
like Dragon Soga.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll get a chapter next week. At least the Shonen Jump app is not kind of saying right now. Chapter in 7 days.
Week.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my shit was bugged. Of course, because I know we're getting out of here. Bocce anime announcement seems like all but confirmed at this point. Twitter's been going crazy. We're obviously like super excited, and hopefully we can talk about that in the coming weeks. And best believe that we will be covering the anime. It's just all about how the pod is gonna, exactly how we're gonna go about. But yeah, look forward to that as much as we're looking forward to the anime, and I know you guys are. And talk to you soon.
Yep. Peace.